Hey everyone, welcome back. For Indy Pro 2000 this week, we are at Belle Isle. This is the Detroit City track. It's very, very bumpy track. I'm still trying to figure out what kind of setup I need to use. I'm using the high downforce setup that's by default from iRacing. It's very bumpy. I might need to adjust the suspension a little bit, but I'm still a very much a beginner when it comes to setting up the car. So I might actually do that a little bit later. But for now, using this setup, I was able to get a time of 124 and a half, 24.5 or so. So the time that I see, the best time on the top split is around 23.5, 23.9. So we're a little bit off. I think we're about second to half a second off the best time. So I think this week I might be a little bit less competitive, might be further down the pack when it comes to the top split races, or if I happen to be in some of the not top split, I might still be competitive. But either way, let's take you through the lap of how I did it, and if you have any tips for me, let me know, and let's go through this one quick hot lap, and then we'll pause and see how I do my lap. So let's go through this lap quickly. So first turn is a sweeper to the right and then a sweeper to the left. And I'm just gonna let this lap run through, and then I'll start doing the pauses and walk through some of the details. So long straight. I brake at the 300. I trail brake into this corner. I watch out for the right curb. It's super bumpy. Another right sort of 90 degrees, and then a left 90 degrees corner. The walls are super close in this section, and then in here, a right-hander that sort of opens up into a very long curve. So you want to make sure you get that one correct. Again, the walls are really tight, but you have to sort of squeeze from the left onto the right in this sort of really tight section, and then back onto the left here, and then really easy to oversteer here, and then you do some of this chicane section where the bumps are just so bumpy on the road, as well as the curbs are super high. So just be really careful, and the wall here is also super close. So, and we're getting close back to the start finish line here, and here's one lap. So I got 24.38 for this lap. I think I still need more practice. I had 30 plus laps and I still can't get as consistent as I would like. Anyway, so let's go through this lap corner by corner and see how we do. So first corner is a right sweeper, very simple. I typically stick to the right so that I can open up the left-hand turn here and then be able to get on the gas early because of that very long straight. So I lift a little bit and let the car turn in, and then I roll on the throttle. Now watch out for this really big uphill bump here. If you're not sort of already turned in, you might actually run into the wall because you sort of do a quick leap. You might get a little bit of a turn in just as the incline starts, but if you're not turned in by then, you're going into the wall. So I find that this corner to be quite tricky to get right, and if you're pushing, you can really easily slam into this Penske wall. I hate that wall. And then you go down this straight, super bumpy. For some reason, I tend to stick to the right, and I brake right at the 300 mark, and brake hard, and then I lift off a little bit, or I slowly get off the brake, and then I get on the gas early. I make sure to only very barely clip the curb. I find that this curb to be also quite bumpy. I don't know if I can sort of change the angle or let you see it, but this bump is enough for you to damage your wing. I've done that so many times already. So watch out for that. Careful not to understeer into this big black barrier here. If you run wide a little bit, that's enough for you to end your race. So be careful. And then, okay, so immediately you have another right-hander. This is a full sort of typical city course 90-degree corner. Curb is huge. If that one was big, this one is huge. So I would miss that curb completely if I can. Just a very quick tap of the brakes, you sort of sweep right. As long as you get your apex correct, you should be able to take this corner fairly quickly. And then immediately back onto the right hand side for a left hand 90-degree corner. This one very easy to oversteer because it's very bumpy on the braking area, or even within the racing line around here as you're turning. So careful on the throttle. Very easy to oversteer, or if you oversteer and try to catch it, you might actually end up in the wall as well. So here I brake very early on, right before I get to the AB Auto Builders sign. I think about maybe 3 tiles before that. I get on the brakes very early just so that I can make this turn here. And in fact, I'm not making it as tight as I should be. And yeah, I probably could have got slightly closer, but again, there's no runoff area or there's no curb here. You clip it, you end up in that wall, or you lose a wheel and you definitely lose a wing. So be careful if you get close, especially if your tires might be a little bit worn in later in the race. You don't know what your grip level is. Just be careful of this wall here. But you want to get as tight to this as possible and as early on the throttle as possible, because this is the longest section you have, and you want to get as much top speed as possible. So over here you get a very good passing opportunity. I typically brake around the 300 mark. Some people brake at 350. So if you get on the inside, I think you should be able to pass down here. It's a great passing opportunity. However, it can be quite bumpy on that curb, so you want to make sure you miss it. I typically brake right at the 300 or just before it, and I sort of let the car rotate in and then gas out fairly early on. So if you look at my rotation, my car is actually, let me actually slow this down here. So the car is already rotating here as I'm slowly letting go of the brakes, and it's actually sliding. And slide it a little bit more, and then I hit the gas so that the weight transfer back and I don't spin. I get super close to this concrete barrier. I've hit it countless number of times, so can't say it enough, but gotta watch out for that. And then one trick I've learned is that I typically would be at the top of the gear here, and I would shift, and only to brake again and shift down, which I feel like is very inefficient. So I actually tell myself, don't shift. The rev limiter is just bouncing, but it bounces for maybe like quarter of a second, and I'm braking already, and I actually am able to get on the throttle earlier because I'm telling myself to brake. So the turn actually gets a little bit more tight than I would have if I had shifted up and then shift back down again. And then the car is also a little bit smoother, it's not jerking back and forth as you're braking. So I find I tell myself don't upshift, and it's really helpful. Really easy to oversteer here as well. I think you saw a very quick tap of the wall here. And then in here, you want to hold the throttle sort of halfway, get to here. Don't swing too wide because you quickly need to sweep back to the right. So I actually lean left here so that I can sweep back right here on this corner. And this is a super tight corner. For me, this is a gear 1 corner. Very bumpy, and there's like a massive dip here that if you try to get on the gas way too early, you might spin out and hit the Continental. So yeah, and then I come here, I brake at the 200 meter mark or 200 yard mark or feet. I don't know what units they are. The 200 mark, I brake, and then I try to hit that apex and get as close to the left hand wall as I dare. I sort of hold steady on the throttle and not full throttle all the way, because I need to look for this apex. I need to turn in extremely quickly. If I don't, then I swing wide and I hit a wall, or I have to lift quite a bit to make the corner. There is this dip here that if you actually catch, like, I don't know if you notice, like, it sort of like dips. Let me play it back in slow mo. It's already right here. You see that dip? This dip right here helps you steer the car in. So you want to catch this dip so that you can actually get on the throttle really early for this run back up to home stretch. So very, very tricky course. As I said, lots of accidents. I've crashed so many times, and I probably still need more practice. I'm probably gonna lose my B license if I keep going at this rate and keep crashing. But good thing this is practice for now. But anyway, there you have it. Let me know what you think of my lap. If it's helpful, let me know. Give me a thumbs up. And if you're new, please subscribe. And please comment below on how you might want to take this course, and in terms of setup, and how you might have any tips or guidance for me on how to improve my lap. So thank you again for watching. I really appreciate all your support. Happy to see you out there on track. Bye for now.